Happening now, wild weather overnight knocks out power to hundreds, where the lights are still out this hour. Plus, how a new Jamestown project is connecting the city's past and future.
Well, as Justin just told you, we had those severe storms last night, but there could be some more on the way. We'll talk about it next as the News at Noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Hundreds of residents remain without power in parts of Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties following a severe thunderstorm overnight. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Here's the latest look of NYSEG's outage map, which is reporting that 280 customers are without power across 16 different outage areas. Specifically, outages are contained in the northeastern parts of Randolph, north to Ellington, South Dayton, and Cattaraugus. Areas west of Little Valley are also still without electricity. For those with National Grid service, the news gets a bit better, with only 35 customers impacted between the two counties. According to their outage map, sporadic outages do continue for a few National Grid customers in Sinclairville, Portland, and Sheridan. There are also fewer than 5 homes impacted via an outage in Steenburg. Around midnight, a heavy line of thunderstorms brought heavy wind in which several locations had trees and power lines come down. Coming up, Dakota will join us once again with a full look at our forecast and what contributed to all of the activity last night. Well, infrastructure stimulus funding will be used to help prevent future water outages in Dunkirk. This after a massive water main break in the city last month. The city's Common Council's Finance Committee authorized the fund's use, which will pay to create an isolation system along the water line to prevent future breaks. Specifically, that line will be in place to isolate and avoid draining the city's water system, like what happened back on August 31st when a 120-year-old water line under Route 5 ruptured.
And it was very difficult geometry of the pipe, so it was difficult to shut off. Usually we can isolate these things. It also happened to be the largest pipe we have in the city, so a lot of volume of water.
Now, the break caused a water emergency in the northern Chautauqua County municipality, with parts of that city without water and a boil water order in place for several days. A 24-year-old Jamestown man will spend at least 3 years behind bars in connection with a June 2020 burglary. The Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office announced that Friday that Braxton Archterberg was sentenced in Jamestown City Court to 3.5 to 7 years intermediate in state prison. Archterberg, the DA's office says, previously pled guilty in May to third-degree burglary. He is currently booked in custody at Chautauqua County's jail. Well, a new historical marker highlighting the city of Jamestown's industrial past was unveiled last week, while municipal leaders are looking to bring new life to the site. Our Bronson Rasmussen with more.
Jamestown's 77th historical marker was unveiled Friday at the Gateway Center on Water Street. Mayor Eddie Sundquist spoke about the site's past, but also looked ahead to its future.
As we move forward over the next few years, this wonderful building will be transformed into the Gateway Lofts. And I am happy to say that the adaptive reuse of one of the largest buildings in Jamestown is both a huge undertaking, but a massive boost to the city, and will provide affordable housing and direct access to services for those who need it.
Plans for the edifice include creating new public housing options, with the project awaiting further funding.
It's gone through our planning commission, it's gone through zoning, and they're working through funding and other opportunities now to remake the Gateway Center.
The city's historian, Ashley Sensky, believes that even though these buildings have a past to be remembered, repurposing them gives the structures new life.
I would wish we could keep repurposing our old buildings and find new uses for them. They may not be the same uses that we have seen before, but it's important to keep their integrity and keep people in them, and I think what they're doing here with the Gateway Center right now is fabulous.
This is not the only new historical marker coming to the Pearl City, the mayor explains.
I'd love to say that there's a specific location, but there's a few ideas being tossed around. That committee will continue to meet and continue to recognize the city of Jamestown's unique history.
Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. That mill site first opened in the 1800s and remained in operation there for several decades. Pretty cool history. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comment section down below. I've got to say hello to Connie, Barbara, Willie, and Butch. Hopefully you're all having a great day out there, and hopefully you got power where you're at. Let us know if you don't, because we'd certainly be interested in knowing where and how long it's been out, because a lot of people last night across our area, Dakota, definitely felt the brunt of that storm. I know I did, and was awoken up to heavy wind and rain right about midnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the line of storms actually was delayed by a couple hours. We were thinking it was going to come in around 8 o'clock. It actually didn't move in until around midnight. That's when the Weather Service, the Weather Service posted a severe thunderstorm warning about 45 minutes in advance of the line getting into western New York. And they were very conscious with that because, again, we'll talk about, during the full weather segment, what the storm actually was, because there was a very unique feature that helped to enhance the winds. That's why we had some very strong winds with that line of storms yesterday. But no storms over the Warren City Bank right now, just lots of clouds around 72 with an east wind. And we've had a few little light rain showers moving on through. Now, same thing we talked about last week. We're still going to have some showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. And the Buffalo radar is officially down for maintenance. We talked about this last week, how they were going to be redoing the pedestal. Thank goodness we got those storms in before the radar went down. So we don't have the Buffalo radar right now, but we do have a radar composite which stitches in multiple radars to give you an image. Not the cleanest image, but it gives you the idea. 74 was the high yesterday, started the day at 63, so a little bit mild. 95 and 58 or 28 is the record highs and lows for this day. So through the afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy. Some sun peaks will be possible through the afternoon. Then scattered showers and thunderstorms arrive toward the evening hours. The high 71 to 77 with a west to northwest wind. Now those storms really get going basically this evening into the overnight hours. We'll time it all out with Future Scan plus that 7-day later in the show. Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Thank you, sir. Well, an apparent loophole in Pennsylvania's mask mandate for schools is making it easier for some students to go to class without them. That's after the state health secretary ordered masks be required inside K-12 schools and child care facilities, which went into effect last Tuesday. Some parents argue that masks aren't necessary, while others say it's hard for their kid to breathe and say that the decision is theirs alone to make. The new mask mandate, there's been no obligation in the masking order for students to produce a doctor's note or other medical documentation. So some school boards across the state are now opposing that statewide mandate, allowing students to go unmasked. Just a parent signature would be required. Erie News Now contributor Dr. Becky Dawson says how important it is for families to follow the mandate, though, to keep students safe when in the classroom.
We have to start thinking as a group, as a community, as a team, that we can't just be thinking about our individual comfort at this moment. Masks are annoying, but I think if we could get through masking this year, we have the promise of a much better, spring, summer, fall next year. And ultimately, that's our goal. If we keep saying, nope, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to find the loophole, it is going to perpetuate spread of disease. We're going to have more cases, we're going to have more shutdowns, more canceled games, and things that aren't going to happen because of the pandemic.
There are a few exemptions for students that it would cause or worsen a medical condition. Well, week after week, more kids are getting COVID nationwide, but leading health experts say there could be a light at the end of the tunnel. Britt Conway has the latest on the push to get a vaccine authorized for kids 5 to 12.
We're seeing infections throughout every age group.
You don't want to go through this. You don't.
Infants and very young children, school-age children, and unvaccinated teenagers.
Medical experts say early diagnosis is crucial. Better yet, prevention.
Use masking and other measures to keep our children safe and reassure parents that help is on the way.
Help in the form of a vaccine. Former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb is on Pfizer's board, and Dr. James Versalovic is helping run children's trials.
you could potentially have a vaccine available to children aged 5 to 11 by Halloween.
That is our goal, October. We are doing everything we can now to move these trials ahead, and they're moving ahead well.
In the meantime, the FDA has made it clear parents need to wait on the formal authorization, saying, quote, children are not small adults, and the vaccine doses that are currently being studied in younger children are not necessarily the same vaccine doses that have been approved for other age groups. Right now, the FDA says clinical trials are still underway, but once the relevant portion is complete, it will work with the manufacturers to analyze the data. Then the manufacturer can submit for emergency use authorization. After that, the FDA will evaluate benefits and risks, a process they say could take just a matter of weeks. And in the face of Delta, every week, every day counts. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Britt, thank you. Coming up, a lot more to tell you about football. It's back. Do you plan on catching a game sometime this fall? More next on what you have to do. And later, the push to keep 9/11 memories alive here in Chautauqua County. How officials are trying to get kids engaged. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Located along the Amish Trail, the Randolph Retail Company offers a variety of clothing, jewelry, and gifts for any occasion. Offering uptown merchandise at small-town prices, our locally owned business balances quality and value. With complimentary gift wrap here at the Randolph Retail Company, we pride ourselves in personal service. Check out our Facebook page or stop in today at 127 Main Street, Randolph, just a 20-minute drive from Jamestown.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
On the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks over the weekend, New York Governor Katherine Hochul announced she's proposing a bill that would let National Guard members qualify as veterans under state law. Hochul said many New York National Guard members responded on 9/11 and are not eligible for support services and federal and state benefits. That's because they were called to duty that day by a state emergency order, not through federal activation. The governor also issued a citation Saturday honoring all National Guard members for serving during and after 9/11. She signed these bills aimed at making sure all 9/11 first responders involved in the rescue, recovery, and cleanup at Ground Zero gets the benefits they deserve.
And in my opinion, they never got the recognition they deserved. It's 20 years overdue, but I'm here to set that straight because I have seen what you've done, and I know what you continue to do. So we signed these bills to try and alleviate some of the burdens that are in place that make it more difficult for people to get the benefits that they deserve. They truly do deserve these.
Hochul's office says more than 6,700 New York National Guard members responded to the attack at the World Trade Center on 9/11. Well, New York Senators Kirsten Gillibrand and Chuck Schumer are pushing for $33 million in federal funding to upgrade the weather warning system across the state and country in response to the deadly flooding rains dumped remnants from Hurricane Ida. The Democratic senators say a web of 126 observation stations across New York, called Mesonet, needs upgrades and money for maintenance, as climate change makes weather forecasting more difficult. They're asking for $3 million in next federal budget for the University at Albany, which hosts the Mesonet site. They're also calling for $30 million to invest in a national Mesonet system. At least 50 people from Virginia to Connecticut died as storm waters from Ida moved into people's homes, engulfing automobiles, overwhelming urban drainage systems unable to handle such amount of rain in a short time. The NFL kicked off their season, but this year it's a bit different. The league expecting stadiums full of fans once again. While teams are working to keep spectators safe, there are things fans can do themselves. Mandy Gaither with a look at that.
Football is back from college to the NFL. This year's stadium's expected to be filled despite the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't think it's smart.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says crowded outdoor games can put people at risk.
I've had my shot and everybody I know have had their shot. I'm encouraging people to get their shot.
Each NFL team has worked to set their own health and safety protocols. Some have no requirements for fans. Others, like these 11 teams, require masks to be worn outdoors and indoors during the game. 3 teams require a negative COVID-19 test or vaccinations for fans 12 and older. The Las Vegas Raiders remain the only team to require fans 12 and above to be vaccinated in order to attend home games.
Outdoors is always better than indoors, but even when you have such a congregate setting of people close together, first you should be vaccinated. And when you do have congregate settings, particularly indoors, you should be wearing a mask.
This week in North Carolina, health officials announced 45% of all COVID-19 clusters in middle and high school since July have been among sports teams. Dr. Fauci said he thinks there will be more vaccination mandates to come.
The rule is going to be if you want to participate, you get vaccinated.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. Last season, the NFL did not cancel a single game over its 17-week regular season, but there were a number of postponements. Well, speaking of football, the Buffalo Bills fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers 23-16 in their home opening game yesterday in Orchard Park. Though the defense was sound in limiting the Steelers to 16 points, it was the Josh Allen-led offense that proved pedestrian. A year after breaking numerous single-season passing and scoring records, the league's second most productive attack managed just 16 points to match a season low last year by scoring just 1 touchdown and 3 field goals despite having 8 of the 11 drives crossed midfield. Allen completed 30 of 51 passes for 270 yards and a touchdown, but it was out of sync when his 21 incompletions, matching a second highest total of his 4-year career. The Bills had no answer for the Steelers' defense and its relentless T.J. Watt, which led pass rushing. Despite using only 3 of the 4 rushers at a time in scrimmage, the Steelers repeatedly made life uneasy for Allen, who moved and scrambles out of the pockets. Buffalo Bills go on to face the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium next Sunday at 1 o'clock. Certainly, I'll be watching. Got a lot of Steelers fans happy today. Let us know who you're rooting for in the comment section down below. Only game 1, though, folks. That's what I just got to say. It's just game 1. You don't know what the future will hold. Great to see Pam. Good to see Bill, Debbie, Brenda, and Connie. Hopefully you're all having a great day out there as you get back to work. And a lot of people may be a little tired this morning if they were woken up overnight by some of that severe weather that moved across the area of Dakota. I don't want to take any more of your time. Can you explain to us what happened?
Yeah, so let's go right to the graphics and we'll talk about this because it was very interesting. So this was the line of storms that moved through last night. This is the time lapse of First Defense Doppler. And you can see that Boeing line segment as the line was coming in. And, you know, we talk about this all the time. When you see a Boeing segment to the line, that generally indicates strong straight line winds as the winds are pushing into the storm and causing the storm to bow out. But something was very interesting. Look right up here at the top. See that little little spin right there, that actually was called a MCV, or a mesoscale convective vortex. And that actually helped to enhance some of the winds that we had last night. So basically an MCV is a small localized area of low pressure within an MCS, or a mesoscale convective system, squall line is what I learned. It's called a squall line. But basically this area of low pressure causes the winds to spin in a rotation around the center of low pressure. Does not mean a tornado. It just means that the winds are spinning around that localized area of low pressure. And these things are generally very localized. 30 to 60 miles wide is generally the width of a MCV. And the strong damaging winds often accompany mesoscale convective vortices. And that's what we had last night. So that's part of the reason why the winds really got strong last night, and there was some wind damage that was reported across portions of western New York, mainly due to that squall line, that Boeing-shaped echo. So there's your Peg the Geek meter segment. So that was a very interesting line of storms that came through. No storms downtown right now. 67, the anemometer at the airport still busted, and the dew point up at 63, and the humidity is going to become another factor as we go throughout the week. It's going to become more humid over the next several days, so you're going to be feeling it in the air once again. Now, the severe weather not quite done yet. The Storm Prediction Center does have the western southern tier under a low-end marginal risk. That's a level 1 out of 5 to darker green, and a standard slight risk from basically Cat County further out to the east. And this is for the evening and overnight hours. Then the SPC has us under a marginal risk again for tomorrow. But the storm impacts for tonight mainly is going to be a damaging wind threat, along with some heavy rain possible as well. No tornado threat with this, but same as last night, it's likely going to be damaging straight line winds mainly will be our main factor. A stalled front right across western New York is going to become the next boundary for these showers and thunderstorms that are already flaring across Michigan. That's going to move in with that frontal boundary overnight, especially this evening and overnight, and bring us those chance for those showers and thunderstorms through the evening hours. So let's take you through the newest run of Future Scan. It keeps us dry through much of the afternoon, but notice we will see a few showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder through the afternoon hours. Those are expected to be not severe. Then as we go into the overnight hours, this particular model not being too impressed with the overall severity of the showers and thunderstorms, but again, they're going to be here through the evening and through the overnight hours. Any one of them could be strong to severe with damaging wind gusts, the main threat. We'll keep our eyes on it. And then tomorrow we'll see a few more showers popping up at times, but our better chance of rain will likely come on Wednesday as another cold front approaches. You'll see a better chance for more showers and thunderstorms coming our way on Wednesday. So the temperatures across the inland areas today, we're likely talking about lower 70s across the inland areas today, but there will be at least a few sun and cloud peaks through the afternoon hours. How about the future? The next 7 days are right there on the screen. We're up to 80 tomorrow. Chance of showers and thunderstorms. A few more scattered storms on Wednesday with that front. Mainly dry Thursday, 75. More humid Friday all the way through the weekend, but we should stay dry both weekend days. We'll take a break. Be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Over the weekend, the nation paused to remember the 9/11 terrorist attacks. However, a new generation is now growing up without direct memory of that day. Our Alana Wingate joins us live now with more on efforts from local leaders to keep that memory alive. Alana?
That's right, Justin. There is a common phrase many people ask on the anniversary of September 11th, 2001's terrorist attack. Where were you? However, today, thousands of local children who recall the day not as an experience, but rather a brief tale told in history class. Among those leading the push is County Legislator Elizabeth Rankin, who was a highlighted speaker at Saturday's Remembrance Ceremony in Mayville. A few weeks ago, Rankin brought her 16-year-old son to Ground Zero in New York City, using the visit as an opportunity to stress the importance of never forgetting the day.
As it moves from our live experience to the history books, that we remember and we keep it alive, that we make people understand what that day meant to us. And the sad thing is, as you're mentioning, they're not talking a whole lot about it in the schools. So let's support that and advocate for that. I certainly did with my son, and I really think we need to make sure that that's something that our youth can remember moving forward.
Rankin's words rang true to State Senator George Borrello, who agreed, saying, "Young people don't remember the day as an experience, but a history lesson."
Unfortunately, we are getting further and further away from that day. And as Elizabeth pointed out, her 16-year-old son, or my nieces and nephews that I've talked to, for them, it's not a memory, it's a story. It's a story that we are not telling enough. You know, it's a cliche, but it's true. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But in this case, there are those who hate this nation that realize that we are not remembering this day and what the consequences were. And that frightens me.
Those fears were real for so many people, including Chautauqua County Sheriff James Quattrone.
After September 11th, 2001, when I saw my brother be deployed several times, the anguish that went through my family's life, the anguish that I had in worrying about him, and I am thankful that he made it home safe.
Said Quattrone, who discussed parallels to the current situation overseas.
With the incidents that had gone on in Afghanistan, I feared that my son would be deployed, and some of his friends and co-workers and fellow servicemen were deployed.
Many people in the local community still have a connection to the horrific events, including County Executive P.J. Wendell, who says the day brings him back to country music star Alan Jackson's famed song, "Where Were You?"
We pause and wonder. And I was really responding to his lyrics that I was teaching a class full of innocent children, high schoolers. Innocence may be questioned at times, but yet they were innocent to what was going on in the larger world around them.
Said Wendell, who became emotional when discussing the loss of his friend, Amy King.
I was in shock as I watched what was happening. Even more shocked to hear that a lifelong childhood friend was aboard that plane that fateful day.
This year marked 20 years since the attack, with many across the community paying homage to the victims that day. Groups from local police, fire, EMS, and even sports teams got involved. Teams like the Fewsburg Youth Football Squad, who held a powerful tribute during the junior varsity Saturday night game, when the players and cheerleaders walked their track to the Jacksons' iconic tune.
Wow, that's just such incredible video there, Alana. Thank you so much for sharing this story with us. And I think that's what a lot of people come to see now, unfortunately, is in today's world and in our lives, there is this group of young people, young kids who don't know. They don't remember 9/11 other than just what their parents had to say, and you see this. They're from Frewsburg, where these young children who I don't think would otherwise know that this would have happened other than their parents' recollection. So it's really breathtaking to see. So I guess going forward, we'll see how long the memories continue.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine, knowing our area, we're going to be one of the areas that really keeps that on tap. Well, that's it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. Looks like the sun's peeking out. If you missed anything we talked about, don't worry. This program's available live and on demand on Channel 716. Have a great day.